very powerful forces at work here, and there's the old saying, it's not paranoia if they're really after you.
Yeah.
I made a statement not too long ago, and I stand by it. I'm going to stand by it today. And you just saw Evangelina and Joe. Turning this water off is not just bad politics. It's an act of domestic terror. Now, John, the last thing I want to do is come here and do over the top. Let me tell you why it is. As mayor for 8 years, I worked with Homeland Security after 9/11. One of the things we were charged with by the federal government was to work together locally to protect the water supply to farming communities so they could continue to provide food for the nation. Now, if you would have told me that that water would have stopped, I would have believed maybe Al-Qaeda struck, not the federal government.
Let me ask you this. And this really, and we're going to talk to the governor. If he said in many interviews, if he had the power, he'd turn the water back on tomorrow. What do you say? What do you say to the president?
Well, that's what I tell you. This may be unpopular. I think the governor has led the way on this water issue. There is a limit to what he can do. But President Obama, with all due respect to my buddy Paul Rodriguez, I'm not going to cut him slack because he knows full well what's happening here, as does Nancy Pelosi and George Miller. They could care less about the water coming to this valley. Sean, they'd rather see it become a solar farm than a food farm.
All right, thank you. Thanks for being with us. Thank you for your report. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And don't go anywhere, folks. Coming up next, we are going to be joined by the governor of the great state of California, Governor Schwarzenegger, coming up next, and he'll tell us what he is doing to respond to the crisis taking place right here in the valley.
Just letting us know that this is impossible to do, and do whatever you want on your own, and they're not going to help us. And I think that it is a horrible situation to have, federal judges interfering with all of this. We have federal judges for the salmon, we have federal judges for the smelt. Where is the federal judge for the farmers? That's what I'm asking myself. Where are the federal judges for providing our food and providing jobs and helping our state? That's what I'm asking for. So I think the federal government has had a good relationship with us. We've had a good working relationship with them. But in this particular case, they've absolutely screwed up in the worst way.
Well, Governor, let me ask you this. Because this impacts over 38 million people. You had sent a letter you brought out Interior Secretary Salazar. You got a letter back scolding you, and in that letter they went on to say, attack California's water infrastructure. They were disappointed that your letter would attempt to lay blame for the California water crisis on the feet of agency scientists. Now my question is, Governor, have you had any opportunity to talk to the President of the United States to tell his Interior Secretary and others in his administration to turn the water back on, and are you planning to talk to the President specifically about this?
Yes, first of all, I'm planning to talk to the President about this, and I have also many times talked to the Interior Secretary and to others, and we have done everything that we can, writing the letters, bringing the political leaders out to the valley and to show them firsthand the 40+% unemployment rate, the way the people are suffering, how we have have to hand out foods to them, how they have no way of making a living or anything like this. And this is not only just in the local area or in the valley. I mean, this limits us in the amount of food that we can produce. And California and the valley was specifically always been the place that feeds the world. So we are being handicapped here by federal judges, and this is the terrible thing about it. In the meantime, I think it's also important for you to know that we are moving ahead here in Sacramento, because we have been negotiating for years to create a water infrastructure to bring